Welcome back, friends. In this tutorial we are discussing about C processor. C processor is not a part of the compiler but is the separate step in the compilation process. In simple terms, a C processor is just a text substitution tool, and it instructs the compiler to do required pre-processing before the actual compilation. We will refer to the C preprocessor as CPP. All the preprocessors commands begin with a hash symbol. It must be first non-blank characters, and for readability a preprocessor directive should begin in the first column. The following section lists down all the important preprocessors directives. Number 1, hash define. Hash include. Hash undefined. Hash if def. Hash if. Hash else. Hash elif. Hash and if. Hash error. Hash pragma. All are the preprocessor directive. The description is the first hash define. It is used to substitute a preprocessor macro. Hash includes or inserts a particular header from another file. This hash undefines a preprocessor macro. Hash if def. It returns true if the macro is defined. Another one is hash undef. Hash diff. If diff, sorry. Another is hash if diff. It returns true if this macro is defined, and Its opposite is hash if n def, and if it returns true if this macro is not defined. The next macro is hash if it tests if macro this if is tests if compile time condition is true. The next one is hash else the alternative for hash if. Next, this hash else and hash if in one statement, then it is used. Now next, and if it ends preprocessor conditional and hash error, it prints error message on std error. And now last, hash pragma, it returns issues special commands to compiler using a standardized method. Now preprocessor examples. First of all, we are removing all the lines. First of all, analyze one thing. Hash define max, macro is defined in capital letter max 20. It means directive tells the C preprocessor to replace instances of max with 20. Use hash define for constants to increase readability. So this is used. These tells directives tells the C preprocessor to get stdio.h from system libraries and add the text to the current source file. The next line tells hash include stdio.h hash include my header dot h. The second line tells the C preprocessor to get my header.h from the local directory and add the contents to the current source file. Now hash undef max another macro file size is define file size 40. Now from this line we are defining a macro max with 20, and another line we undefine a macro file size. In the fifth line we define a macro with value 40. Now it tells the C preprocessor to undefine existing file size and define it as 40. Now another macro hash if and def message hash define msg my pleasure sir hash and if. Now it tells including this and this. Now it tells the C preprocessor to define message msg only if message is not already defined. Now next hash if def debug your debugging statements here. This is end and begin with multi-end comments. You can place here your debugging statements here and end with hash and. Now these three contains some code that tells the C preprocessor to process the statements enclosed if debug is defined. This is useful if you pass the debug flag to the GCC compiler at the time of compilation. This will define debug, so you can turn debugging on and on and off on the fly during compilation. Now we can give you example of each the macro in some other episodes, so we are not describing this with all the examples for each macro. So we are removing all the macros. Now we are describing some predefined macros. ANSI C defines a number of macros, although each one is available for use in programming. The predefined macros should not be used directly or not be directly modified. So one by one we discuss some macro. Underscore date in capital, underscore the current date as a character literal in DMM YY format. The format is month DD YYYY, the current date format of this macro. Now another macro is time. The current time as a character literal in this format is HH MM SS format. Now next macro is file macro. This contains the current file name as a string literal. Now next, line is macro. Line, this contains the current line number as a decimal constant. Now last, STDC, it defines as one when the compiler compiles with the ANSI standard. If we want to print all these values, so this can be used in the printf statement as %s/n comma this and other things is also printed just like this. Sorry, code block is crashed. Now we can again start code block. Main Now we are providing only one value in a simplest way.